Okay, well, thank you and welcome to today's event. I'll start now, and we'll probably get a few extra people joining us. They can obviously hopefully catch up. This will be recorded, or I am recording it, and we'll put a link up onto the Trailblazer group a little bit later on. So what I'm going to do today is go through the events module. We'll have a little bit of a look about, how to set it up, how to add even custom fields and things like that. And we'll actually go and add a custom field and have a look at some of the options. So it's more than just like a demo of the product. For those of you that have used our events module, you just as a bit of a recap, so we allow you to sign up online. We allow you to have different types of tickets. We allow you to have tickets that are what I call movie ticket style. So you purchase the 2 tickets and you just turn up at the event. We have tickets that are like conference-like style. That's where you buy 2 tickets and you have to register the people's names. And the reason why I say like is it's not a full conferencing package where you can kind of book airline tickets and, session A in the morning and session B in the afternoon, things like that. What I mean by is you can simply buy 2 tickets, you have to specify each of the people's details. Then the third option is we allow for like group of or table of. So if you're running a gala dinner, that might be a table of 10 people, but at the time of booking the tickets, you only know 7 out of those 10 people, and you're going to let the organisation know about the others later on. For gala dinners, I'm not going to go into that today, into the area, but we do have a bit of a table type planner in there as well, so have a look at the online documentation for that at a future date. Cool. So the first thing to do is I'm going to start on the merchant facility, which we are all quite familiar with. What you'll see here is we have a couple of extra links on the merchant facility, and you'll see your website, and we've got this one here that says calendar events, so you can create a calendar, and there's another one here that says upcoming events. So by clicking on that, that will launch a widget that is upcoming events. This widget would normally be embedded in your website. So if you had, say, like a landing page for, I don't know, events about, volunteer training days, or another one that might be about, particular courses that you're running. So maybe it's, circus and you're doing juggling courses. This would be just like a widget that you'd embed on your website for those of upcoming events. So I can click onto that, and that will then launch the event, or like the ticket registration. What you'll see here is a couple of things I'm going to point out. So obviously we've got the background image that stops standard payments to us, whether you want to have a background image or not. Again, with all our forms, you can put them on your website. You can have them, separate linked like what I've got here, or you can have it embedded within, say, like a page on your website. This bit here is the normal sort of payment overview that you're familiar with. These things here are called sidebar widgets. So just remember that, and I'll come back and show you where they are. So you can kind of put these on the side. I've only got 2 of them here. So I've got like the contact us and kind of like the add to calendar one, and you can reorder those. This information here comes from your campaign inside Salesforce. So what we're doing is we're allowing you to purchase tickets, and then it will still go to the campaign object inside Salesforce. The idea behind that is we're using stock standard Salesforce, campaign and campaign members, and then, your other tools like your email marketing tools and things like that you have, they normally work with campaign. So if you want to send out reminders to the event, or maybe there's been a change of venue or date or something like that, you can just use those tools to send them. And of course, all sorts of other things that work with campaigns can be also used, such as campaign status. The next part of the form here is you'll see that we have various types of tickets. Here I've got like a member one, non-member one, student, and free events here. And then I've got a registration form down here, which I can start to key details in. What I'm going to do now is it's not really just an overview of, the events module. We're looking a bit more about how do you set it up, and a bit more than just the, the demo, some of the behind the scenes type things. So first of all, what I'm going to do here is you'll see here we've got campaign ID equals. If I come back to here and I go into Salesforce and I paste that ID there, obviously you would know the campaign because you would have set that up previously. You can see that we've got a campaign here. This one's simply called Demo Event. You can see it's of type event. And you can see this one here is linked to a payment form. So I know a lot of people are familiar with payment forms, so we'll go into that a little bit later. What you'll also see here is we can put things like the start date, end date, and the time. So when you're doing the add to calendar buttons, it's going to use these to add them to people's, Outlook or Gmail or even good old Yahoo. Then you'll see we've got an event name. So these are kind of things that we're seeing on the form here. So where the venue is, add to calendar, and things like that. When and where. So if I go back to my demo event, and we have a look at some of these other things. So brief event, we've got that there. This picture, this is a rich text field, so you can upload pictures here. So that's been loaded onto the campaign. The venue, 27 Hyde Street, Yarraville. So that's what appears on this form here for those venue details. You'll also see things like maximum number of tickets available. So this is like a total number of tickets. You can specify these at the payment form, or if you want to have them at the individual event, you can specify them at the event level as well. So I'll come back into some of that a little bit later. Cool. So down here we've got name and address and all of those details. So that's kind of the about, the when and where type of things that are for setting up an event. What I'm going to do now is on the event, you can see that this is linked to a payment form. My assumption is that most people on this call are familiar with payment forms and how they're related to a merchant facility. So if not, perhaps put a thing in the chat and we can have a little session on that a little bit later on. But what I'm going to do here is the campaign is linked to a payment form. So if I click on the payment form, so you can have multiple payment forms on your website. Often you'll have one for like a payment or a donation or membership. This is one here is set up and it's got a type of event. Okay. So related to this, we'll have, what type of credit cards we're going to accept and, some of the things we're going to have on the checkout. Some people might also want to do the enabled donation with. So if you were doing an event and it was a paid event, but you want to give people the option to add a little extra on the end for a donation, you can also do that. But the key thing, if I scroll down on the event, on the payment form, so we've got events. So this is some event-specific type of things here. Okay, so this is where we can kind of configure. So remember how I mentioned at the beginning that we sort of said that we can have movie ticket style, or we can have the style where you have to specify each of the individuals, or the style where you can do like a group. That is controlled by the tickets and event attendees. So you can see on here, so this one here is optionally, so that's like the table of. Ticket only is the movie ticket style one. Cool. Okay, so what we've got now, so we've got the payment form. Now related to the payment form, you can see these options like not-for-profit discount, student or free, we've got member, non-member, and then we've got some other ticket types. The payment options related to payment form are the ticket types. If I scroll down here, you'll see here that we've got member at $50 each and non-member at $200 each. So going back into here, and if for some reason this is, sorry about that, I went to the wrong thing. So back on the payment form, related to that, these are different options. So if we have a look at, say, non-member, we can see that that's got a price of $200. So here, non-member is $200. So that's where the pricing comes from. If you wanted to do something like an early bird pricing, you can go available from and to and put like an early bird on here. You can sequence the order that these are going to appear on the payment form as well. And you can put a maximum number of tickets available by the ticket types as well. So if you wanted to, say, have this event mainly for members, but say reserve 10 for just non-members, then you could put maximum tickets available of 10 here. I'll come back a little bit later into this required membership side of things. Okay, so that's a setup of here. So what I'm going to do here is on my ticket, I'm going to go here and we'll do 2 tickets at $400. I'm going to buy it for myself. I'm going to go next. This is where I said the option that I'm going to allow for the specifying of attendees. Okay, I'm going to come out of that. And we'll go to a different browser that I have set up. So, okay, I'm just going to go... So what I just needed to do then was actually reauthorized payments to us. So changed a few things. So this is actually a different instance, but I've got these things set up here. And again, sorry, at the start, I'm going to choose 2 non-members. I'll put my details in and I'll go next. Okay, now what this is doing is, remember I chose 2 tickets and I said to put the people's names, and I can go save and add. And then perhaps I can put in, say, Carol, and I'll remove that. Okay, save. Once I put all the people in, it'll come up with the next button. And I've got my checkout form asking for all sorts of things, like the addresses and all that sort of stuff. That this is obviously, optional, so I'll put those in. And then basically just put a credit card number in and go and pay for it. So that final screen is like a typical standard checkout screen that we would have, in most places with payments to us. So what that will do is behind the scenes is it's going to record the payment as a payment transaction. I think we're all hopefully familiar with that. The difference with these payment transactions is that because I've got members in here, what you'll see is against the payment transaction, everything else is pretty much the same. But what you'll see here is we've now got payment items. So when we have a look at the payment items, these are the individual members that have signed up. Okay, so if you had 3 people buy tickets, you'd have 3 items here. Okay, and if I go to my campaign, which is my demo event, what we should now do is under the campaign members, I just need to wait 10 minutes for this, but that would actually update to have the number of contacts associated with it, and the tickets would be reduced. Hopefully that's a little bit of a quick sort of run through and a little bit of a look behind the scenes of some of the setup. What I'm going to do now is a lot of people want to add extra fields to the checkout. So one of the examples of that might be, say, adding, dietary or food preferences. So the way that we do that is we create a new field.
Sorry, Jeff, do you mind if I jump in? We've actually got 2 who's have asked a similar question. Or we've got one who's asking the question. Morgan's asked if, regards to event time, is the time zone set per the company information setup, or can it be set by a campaign level? And they're saying that because they're they've got an Australian-wide Salesforce system. They're hoping they can be set for the state operations.
So you'd want to have a different time zone for each state?
Yep.
So the event's obviously set at the time zone for the company when you're setting up the event. That'd be whatever. So if you're in Victoria, that'd be the Victorian time zone. If you did a add to the calendar, adding to your Outlook or something like that, that would take into account the user's local time zone. So if I signed up for this webinar from Western Australia or New Zealand, then your add to calendar should have the right time for you.
Cool. Thank you. Sing out, Morgan, if that doesn't answer your question. Oh, and we also have another one, sorry, just on that. With the Contact Us sidebar widget, they've asked, why is it on the calendar and not the mail to email icon? Is it possible to alter this to... they're wondering if they can get a Contact Us on the widget, on the calendar widget, as well as the... can you have got the little icons?
Okay. Yeah, no, the sidebar widget just on the things that you can put that through as a suggested enhancement, if you'd like. I'm just going to go back to so for others here, just as a reminder, this is the when and where and the Contact Us are showing on the registration form. They don't show on the calendar form. If you on the calendar, if you click through to the event, then it's obviously going to show. I forgot to mention where these are set up. So what I'm going to do here is go back to my event, my campaign, and I'm going to click into the payment form. Now what you'll find is against the payment form, these are where you set up the sidebar widgets. So you can come in here and then add a new sidebar widget. And this can also be added to the general checkout forms, to say like a donation form and things like that. And it's used in our peer-to-peer fundraising and things like that. So you'd have just like a rich text thing, so you can upload an image. We've got the when and where, and obviously for a donation or a campaign, you can do it like an attainment gauge. Just be a little bit careful. There's sometimes when Payments to Us installs, it's a bit of a Salesforce quirk. These can get the wrong record types behind the scenes, but that's something contact our support. It doesn't quite look right. That's where you add the sidebar widgets, and you'll see that they've also got a display order, 01, 02. So if you wanted to change these around and put, the Contact Us above the when and where, change that to 01 and make that 02. Cool. Okay, and just as another little bit of a reminder for people, if you were looking to, try some of this out, the best place to start is to go to the About Payments to Us tab and then the Create Samples. If you already have something showing in here, then you've already created the samples previously, but that comes with like a demo, event and things all set up to pretty much run as I've shown today. So that's kind of like your quick start to get going. Okay, are we okay to move on, David? Just let me know if there's...
Yes, for now I'm responding to a couple of comments.
Okay,
so
cool.
All good, keep going.
Okay, thank you. So one of the things we quite often get asked is about adding extra custom fields. This is more for your Salesforce administrator. So, if you're not your Salesforce administrator, but more of a person that's using events, just don't let it frighten you, but just let you know that just to be aware that it can be done. So you may recall when I came back to here, and I had a look at the payment transaction. So that's all payments come in as payments transactions, as we all know. And remember, I said the attendees were under the payment items. Okay. So if we want to add extra fields, so if we want to add fields to the first screen that you go to, that would be on the payment transaction. If you want to add fields to each of the individual attendees, that goes onto the payment item because that's where the data is going to be saved. So what we do here is we go to the setup inside of Salesforce. We go to the object manager. The object that we're trying to find is payment item. We click into payment item. We go fields and displays. Now what I can do here is I can create a new field, and I probably choose a pick list type and go next. Diet Fury. There you find out how bad my spelling is. And I'm just going to enter in vegan, meat lover, anything, I guess. So we just put in some, values there. I go next. It's important that we make it visible here, and I just go basically next. I only really want this to be added to my events page, and I go save. So that's added the field, but what I need to next do is actually make it available for the payment form builder to be able to access it. So I've got this, event contact registration 01, and I've got a 10D. So this is a 10D registration 01, a 10D registration 02. So remember 01, 02 goes all the way through to 10. I'm just going to be amending the 01, so I'll go edit. And what I can do now is just drag that onto here. So that means it's now available for a field to select. With all things with Salesforce, you've got to set up the appropriate security. So if you just add a field, it's not going to be automatically available to somebody on the web. So we need to set it up to make it available to people on the web. So this is under your website, so it's under the sites. So I go into sites. You should have one site here, say like payments. So this is basically your payment website. And again, all of the stuff is step by step is actually in our user guide as well. So pretty much these steps will be, documented with click here, click there type stuff, search for this. Okay, I'm on my website. I'm going to have a look at the public settings. Cool. And one I want to change is payment item. So just search for that on the page. And what I'm looking for, this section here is called field level security. And then I go view. I go edit. I locate ABC. Whoops. I actually went into the wrong object. I'm just seeing if you're, watching me correctly. What I did is I went into the wrong object. So what I was after was payment item. So go next. So I clicked on recurring payment item last time. So this time on payment item, so make sure you get the right object. You go edit. You locate the field that we just added, which is this one here, and I mark it as edit access, and then save. So this has basically made that field publicly accessible to the World Wide Web for the entry. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'll go back to my campaign, payment form. So on the merchant facility, related to the merchant facility is that event membership training course payment form. If you scroll down here to the event section, just as a reminder, see the event field set I'm using as 01. So you might remember previously I said look at the event 01, 02, 03, or 10. So that allows me to select a template. So I might have like O1 for events that have food, O2 that have events with, say, like a sporting handicap, O3 is, I don't know, something else. So that's how you typically use that. Okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go into Payment Form Builder. I'm going to do a full reset this time. It picks up all the new fields. I'm on your website. I want to go to the event attendee page, click into the attendee, and I'm on here and go edit. So now what I can find here is my new field that I've just added, and I can drag it onto the form. And to know that we can obviously change the label and we can make it required if we so wish. So I'm going to do save. So that's now gone and updated my form and added a new field to it. So if I go back to this page again, I'm just going to go to the end and just refresh my browser. Training course. I'm going to do members. I'll choose non-members because we'll just keep it a little bit simpler. 2, put it, this is the person registering it. I can do next. Remember, the second screen is about the individual attendees. This is more about the person booking it. And now what you can see is I've now got this new field on here. And of course, what I could have done is actually dragged and dropped it up the form a little bit as well. Cool. So that was that part of things. Just one other thing that I promised as part of today was some people have members with, and they want to make the member price and make it required for a particular person. So if I go back into, whoops, not there. If I go back into Salesforce, so I'm on the payment form. This is the event payment form. So remember, payment forms for memberships or events. And if I click into the member side of things, what I can do is I can click requires membership number, and if I press save, what that's going to do is ask for a membership number, or you have to have the membership number on the form, but it's going to ask for the membership number and then make sure that it's valid. And it's going to make sure it's valid by looking at the membership number on the contact record and to make sure that they've got an active current subscription against it as well. And they won't be able to save that contact until they've done that. Cool. So we've only got 1 or 2 more minutes left. I think I've seen a few questions. David, did you want to?
Yeah, I think Patty's asked a good question about the URL token. So on the event URL token, she's asked, how do you expire them? The URL token itself.
So currently our URL tokens, they don't have an expiry that's actually effective. But what you can do is when we set up payments to us, one of the things that we do is we have to set up sharing rules, which allow people to access, a record or a link. The default instructions in our manual say to exclude anything where the where used is internal. So what you can do is you can create a time-based workflow that basically sort of says on the expiry date, change the where used to internal, and then that would remove access to that record.
Yeah, and you could also do that manually as well if you didn't want to do it through a workflow rule, depending on when you want to.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, of course. Cool.
Were there any? Was there any other questions anyone's got? Arthritis New South Wales, jump in if you still can't find those fields. You can always obviously use support.
Support it, and like I say that for all of these things, don't forget. You start your Google search, payments to us, events, and what you'll find here is the ones that come with help or events, frequently asked questions and things like that. There's an awful lot of information in here. Some of these guides here with the expanding and collapsing, if you're on Chrome or something like that, you can do the Control F and even search within the pages as well, which works pretty well. But you'll find that all of these things we've talked about today should be documented in the help guides or the frequently asked questions.
And just to answer Arthritis New South Wales, just your question, we actually can't show you because the fields should just appear on your campaign screen. So if you can't see them, the start time and Jeff could show the start time and end time on the campaign, but they should be on the page layout. So if you can't see them, you probably just need to talk to your system admin about giving you access to them.
Yeah. And one of the things is to remember that all users should have access, our permission sets assigned to the users as well. Okay, I'm conscious of us sort of keeping to half an hour and not going into people's lunchtime too much.
Cool.
We're obviously open to just send to perhaps our support or log it on the the Trailblazer group. So for those that haven't had access to the Trailblazer group, just on our website under support, you can go to the Trailblazer group, ask questions there. More than happy to take suggestions. And I've been asked by our marketing person as well as if anybody's got 2 minutes free and could give us an app exchange review, that would help us very much. I really appreciate that. And of course there's the support at paymentstrust.com as well.
And
so look forward to more suggestions.
And the recording will be sent after this. So I think it takes a little bit of time to process, and then we'll send the recording out afterwards.
Yep. So everybody that registered will get a link, plus we'll also put it on the Trailblazer group.
Great. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Have a good afternoon.
Cheers.